Hey, everybody. Welcome back and happy lunchtime. Thank you for joining me. And especially thank you because, frankly, we've got somebody who's not that appetizing to talk about today. We've got a vituperous snake, Tyra Banks. Now, my head fell off my shoulders, the jaw dropped when Tyra decided she was going to sue Netflix for editing her, which is hilarious because honestly, she is insane. She said they edited her unfairly, blah, blah. She sat for 3 whole hours and they only used like X amount of minutes because you'd think that Tyra didn't know how it worked, right? However, she was the executive producer of not only America's Next Top Model, but the Tyra Banks show, which is when I knew her. Yeah. A lot of you may not know this, but this girl here did basically run Page Six for 10 years, 99 to 2009. And I had to meet everybody in New York, including Tyra. And I remember watching America's Next Top Model. Hold on, Doug's got the squeaky. Dude, can we take that elsewhere? Thank you. Hold on, guys. The guy can't stop. Our friend Elizabeth sent him the squeaky aardvark, and he cannot get over the goddamn aardvark. Oh my God, excuse my language. Anywho, I've been living with that squeak for 3 days. Anywho, the whole point about Tyra is she was never nice. She rose to fame because she was pretty. She was the Victoria's Secret model. And she's one of those women who never really had female friends, which is my number one red flag. Anytime a woman goes, I don't really like women, I'm more of a guy's girl, you're like, oh crap. Or when the women are like, I'm a girl's girl, but they don't really like other girls or hang out with other girls. You know what I mean? It's like a little Chelsea Handler, although Chelsea Handler does like famous women only. You guys may or may not know my feud with Chelsea Handler, but there we go. I'll talk about that on another episode. So I was talking to this girl named Giselle Samson, and Jazelle was on America's Next Top Model season 1. Okay, so it wasn't as vicious and crazy as it got, but it was still nasty. And you guys have to understand that Jazelle had just turned 18, literally almost the day before shooting. Okay, now this is Jazelle back then. She's stunningly gorgeous. I mean, Giselle is on the left. She was their Latina entrant. Right? We'll get into that in a minute. This is Jazelle. She was a model. She was a dancer. She was going to college, and a friend was like, no, you got to do this. And she randomly went, met them, and they signed her on the spot, gave her like 5 hot minutes to sign a legal contract. And of course, when you're 17, 18, you're like, yeah, this is a man. What? You don't read. You don't know what a legal contract is. It was 2003. You know, 2004, whatever it was. And she was like, all right. Now, this is also the girl who Tyra and the judges said had a wide ass, which I don't know about you, but man, if that girl has a wide ass, mine is the size of Texas. Anyway, so Giselle came and sat down with me. I have a show on News Nation. It comes out every Tuesday, Thursday now at 1:30, and on YouTube, by the way. And I sat down with her. So I got some clips because I just want to discuss this. It was nuts. Fred said her words were stripped of context and rearranged to tell a story that wasn't true. And you've said the show did something similar to you, turning a confident working model into, quote, a girl with no confidence. And how did you feel to watch yourself portrayed that way when you were on the show? And also, what is she even thinking? Does she not understand what she did to you and others?
I really don't believe she understands what she's done. Now, I read that she was interviewed for 3 hours, 3.5 hours, and they edited her down to 15 minutes.
16. Yeah, give or take.
Okay. I was interviewed for 6 hours for the same documentary. Of course, I was edited as well. They can only fit so much, and they have to tell everybody's stories. I really don't even have a word for the way that I'm feeling about this. I don't have a word for the way that, for what she is doing. It's almost karma. What makes me upset about it is, okay, you got your karma essentially from what you did to myself and other girls.
Raise your hand if this word fits. Confused.
Don't I sound confused?
Betrayed.
Yes. Completely.
Furious.
Absolutely.
Concerned?
No. Furious. Definitely furious, because her status is giving her the opportunity to go and try to fix her image.
Something you never got.
And we don't get the opportunity to do that. I don't get the opportunity to do that. And I've tried. And lawyers will look at our contracts and be like, well, you signed, so. And I'm like, but especially now I'm looking at it again, because I'm like, well, then how come she's able to do this?
Right.
Also, what just makes me even more irate. Ooh, how about that word?
That's a good one.
What makes me even more irate is the fact that I was literally 17 years old, 6 months prior to signing something that I was given only mere minutes to sign.
Oh, wow.
I was in a very different situation than all the other girls. I didn't do a cattle call. I did not do a video submission. I did nothing. A friend of mine sent my headshot in. And at the last minute, they called me while I was working on another modeling project to come in and audition or meet her Ken Mock. That it was December 30th, and then December 31st, I'm at the network. And I signed within minutes by myself.
What?
18 years, and because I was 18, I was legal.
Yeah. Imagine that. And I mean, how effing shady is that? Now, I got more clips we're going to discuss, but the thing is, Giselle basically went on to say she walked in super confident. She liked herself. She was actually pretty good with everything. She was like, yeah, I got a lot going on. I'm a dancer. I've done some modeling. I'm going to college. Why not try this new thing? And she gets hired, and then Tyra tells her, while the cameras are not rolling, hey, you're too confident. America's not going to like you. So you better tamp it down, because if you want to stay on here. And so, of course, Giselle's like, oh, okay. No one ever, okay, fine. Sure. And so then she started self-deprecating and became literally, through the process, absolutely a girl with no confidence. And when she saw it back and heard them talking about her, quote, white ass and breaking her down, it's just, I love the fact that Tyra was always like, I'm a girl's girl. I'm here for women, but you broke down women for a business. This was her business. And she would say in her defense, well, this is what the modeling industry really is. And, in 2003, 2006, it was very different in the modeling industry. I remember I had a girl, I was mentoring a girl in a program, and she said she wanted to be a model. And at that time, I was still at Page Six. I said, absolutely not. You're not going to be a hooker. And she goes, what do you mean? And I said, what do you think happens? What, you want to go to the clubs? You want to go dancing? You're invited there because men have picked you out of a page of a lookbook. And you go in, and then bad things happen. Of course, now with the Epstein files, we know exactly what happened to a lot of these girls. But the modeling industry, for me, was really about human trafficking. You get girls when they're very young, and you basically send them out to go on look-sees by themselves, sometimes to random old men's apartments. So I looked at her and said, no. And so when Tyra said, this is just what the modeling industry is like, and you're going, yeah, but just because something may be that way, don't you want to do it better? Don't you not want to be such a bitch? Excuse my language. No, she didn't. Here's another bit of that interview. And then we'll get into some more saucy stories about Tyra.
Were you paid at all for participating in this, or was this just a cut out of your life and then later you to pay for your own therapy or get to pull yourself back up?
I think we got a per diem.
Oh, dear God. What was that?
And I think I came home with maybe because I saved it. I think we went grocery shopping once or twice. I don't even remember really.
Oh, ouch.
Because that's what it was for. Like, get yourself a coffee, get yourself whatever. But remember, the budget was really, really low then. It almost didn't happen the show, which maybe it shouldn't have, but whatever. I think I came home with $175.
Wow, that's insulting. That is insulting. Even for 2003, that is insulting. I'm so sorry. I know I shouldn't be laughing. I'm just a little bit in shock because Tyra made millions off of that. I mean,
Off of us.
Yes, that show. Off of you, off of everyone, and your trauma and tearing you down. A woman who claims to be a girl's girl,
and I feel kind of bad about that. Like, I feel like I'm not allowed to have feelings for what I went through because it got so much worse in later seasons for the other girls. And I'm like, well, because some people, of course, social media and everybody having to say what they say.
Girl, you're allowed to have your feelings.
Yeah, but oh, well, get over it. All these things. And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, that didn't happen to me, and it got worse and worse and worse for these girls. But I mean, at the end of the day, it was my experience. I was that age. It was my first experience, and I believed in her.
Yes.
A lot of those girls believed in Tyra because Tyra also would do things like, I'm Mama Tyra, don't worry, and any of us who are aware of the drag community, the mama bear figure, the leader of the family. And that's who Tyra pretended to be, but she was not a mother in any way, shape, or form that you would ever want. She was an abusive, horrific mother to these girls, if you will. And the fact that literally no one got paid, and even in later seasons, they still got a per diem. Tyra made millions, made her name off of that show, got her eponymous talk show, Tyra, which again, we will get into in a hot second. But Giselle is right. Some of the later shows, the stunts got worse and worse and worse, really looking at people and just critiquing their looks, telling people you have to fix your teeth, you have to fix this, basically change everything about yourself, and then you'll be fine. It sounds like a hell of an abusive relationship to me because it was never going to be fine. Of course, Adrienne Curry, the season 1 winner, has come out and said she never actually received her winnings. So, and now it's too far gone for any of these girls to sue, but they are all laughing because, as Giselle said, her contract that she signed, it says you have to go into arbitration. You can't sue. You have to do arbitration. Now, she says that her contract with Netflix was very similar. So how and why is Tyra suing? Why does she think she can? And we get into why. And this gets really shady. So for some of you guys who don't know this, Tyra moved to Australia for several reasons. It's not because she's with an Australian. No, she moved to Australia, blah, blah, blah. But I believe it's because the Australian dollar is not as strong as the American dollar. And you can make your money go a long way. And she went down to Australia and is now trying to start an ice cream company called Smize. It's just the name of it makes me want to gag. It's so 2006. Like, she's stuck in a weirdo beardo time warp. Anyway, she tried it out in Australia. If you look on TikTok, the reviews are not stunning. Hot ice cream. Like, okay, girl, maybe everything's hot because it's in Australia and it's boiling down there. But wow, she done burned her mind. All right. And so we talk about this. I think this is the right clip. If not, I'll get into it.
It's interesting. Do you think that she did this because there was so much blowback and she still has this dream? I think it's a bit of a bizarre dream to become an ice cream mogul in the States. And now, she keeps threatening a rollout. There have been some pop-ups. Do you think she's doing this specifically because people really were frankly disgusted by the documentary and her behavior? Do you think that she is doing it because of that, or do you think she literally just does not get it? There are celebrities, I know a few, I can think of 10 right now, who literally don't understand when people don't like them and think that these people who don't like them must be paid not to like them, or there must be a reason.
I'm hearing things that she has allegedly,
Mm-hmm.
allegedly, people, had some financial situations with
Mm-hmm.
business
Smize.
people within her, her smize, scream, hot cream, whatever you want to call it, business. No, it's great. Listen, I love a new business, women owned,
Right.
go for it, whatever. But I'm thinking, could it be a money grab? But then she would have to pay so much to lawyers to even go against Netflix
Yep.
for this. It doesn't make any sense, Paula.
Mm-mm.
It makes
No.
0 sense.
None.
Monetarily, with legalities that are in place with it. She literally did the same thing on Top Model. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it might be allegedly a PR play, to
But-
try to win back some sort of good graces from people who literally just watched her and went, "Oh my God."
How could this be? I don't see that working. It's not even working right now.
No.
People are like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
Yeah, irony, thy name is Tyra.
Right.
Hypocrisy, thy name is also Tyra.
Right.
It is, and this leads me into the next question of, there's been a lot of public reaction that Tyra is essentially getting a taste of her own medicine. Does this feel like accountability finally arriving?
Definitely not.
Okay, tell me what accountability would look like.
A massive apology.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was a massive apology. Giselle and the hundreds of contestants of America's Next Top Model, not to mention the people who went on Tyra's show, are likely never to get. It's this weird club, right? It's people like Tyra, Meghan Markle, Blake Lively. They can't actually believe that people don't like them. They don't get it. They don't understand. And it's this weird supercilious solipsist movement of being so self-centered, you can't see past your own ass. Again, pardon my language, but it is crazy because the early 2000s were very much like this. This is when people like Blake and Meghan and Tyra were really created. These are people who have been either favored or fawned upon since they were very little, either by the public or their parents. And they can't get it when the public is like, hey, I don't feel comfortable with this. But they were also promoted because of many men in the business. You look at the agencies, you look at the managers, you look at the producers. Let me tell you, I knew all these guys, and they are all guys. And especially in the 2000s, before social media, before anyone really had their say, and there was just TV and possibly cable, whatever, they would all be like, no, we're the tastemakers. And they would go with what they liked. So they would go with women who appealed physically, mentally to them. And there weren't really, it was very interesting every now and again when you got somebody who was truly empathetic and truly amazing. And it wasn't these women. at all. And I wondered what the question I was really trying to get to with Giselle is, I think Tyra so doesn't see it and needs desperately to salvage some of her image. So she's suing Netflix because A, she does have some cash left. But B, she's saying to the public, look, they're so wrong, I'm going to sue them. She needs to do this because she was supposed to have a huge international rollout of Smize. Y'all can do the Google search. It was supposed to open in, of all places, DC. That is now surrounded in lawsuits with the lawyer. She was also supposed to open in New York. Now, she did have some pop-ups, didn't go very well, got a lot of press, of course, because as we know, people like people, and these kind of places are always desperate for some photos and a quirky little story that'll get them clicks. So they covered it without asking any questions. However, I have heard, this is pretty interesting. I have heard lots of people were not paid for Smize in Australia. She would fly people out to work with her and then just not pay them. However, you know who always gets paid? Boop, boop. Yes, Tyra. It's amazing. And she also does weirdo crap like, oh my God, my house in the Palisades burned down. It did. That's horrible. We don't want anyone's house to burn down. However, she hadn't been there in years. And now she keeps bringing it up. I can't go because in my mind, it's still there. So a house you never went to in years that you're probably going to get paid millions for on insurance. Okay, I'm sorry it burned down, but it's not like you were even living there anymore, girlfriend. She does these weird stuff like, feel bad for me. See, I'm human too. You know, it's, but irony is writ large. And the other thing is there's something about Tyra where karma comes for her in this life. There's a lot of people who it doesn't come for quite quickly. But, you know, we'll get into it in a minute. But remember the Tyra show, and she was like, I walked through Times Square in a fat suit and freaked out. And, oh, I was ignored. And, oh, people were mean to me. And I'm like, okay, so they treated you the way that you basically treat them. Okay. And the karma was a couple years later, she gained a lot of weight. Are they still mean to you? Do they still ignore you? No, they don't, because you're Tyra. And also, you're mean as hell, and she'd probably smack you with a frying pan. Trust. One more clip, and then we're going to get down into some personal stories, because they nasty.
Heard that Tyra Banks was suing Netflix.
Wait.
Misrepresented and edited unfairly, according to her. What was your honest gut reaction?
Well, first of all, when I saw the article, I couldn't believe it. I was like, no, this is fake. This has to be some sort of rumor. Like this, there's no way, because it sounded so no, because all of us girls that have been on 2 decades of her show signed away our lives to keep us from doing exactly what she's trying to do to Netflix, allegedly. I had to put in allegedly these days because, my gosh, you know, who knows?
I know.
Can't
Well,
say
you
anything.
did say they've been calling you.
They've been calling all of us. I'm on a huge
Tyra's people or Tyra herself?
No, just all the media outlets. They're calling all of us girls to talk about this topic.
Right,
This is just,
right.
It's been just insane. And a big group of us were all on a group message,
Right.
and we're all talking about it, and everybody has their insides or you know, sending what they know from so and so and hearing this and that. It's just insane, but we're all on the same page. We're just like, how can this be? We have been edited so poorly where it's destroyed some of our careers. It has hindered our careers. You know, there was nothing that we could do about it, and we signed, you know, something called arbitration.
Right.
And I was on this documentary with Tyra. I'm in this particular Netflix documentary, and we all have to sign the same thing. So we've all been talking and saying, like, how, even if it's true for her and whatever it is, how is she even getting away with this?
Right.
So, but I guess money, I mean, I don't know, but money and who she is, her legal team, I guess maybe they're thinking they can overstep or override this arbitration clause we all signed and go for it. But I mean, the irony
Yes, I was
and
going to.
audacity. I'm just, I don't want to say too much because I want to see how this unfolds. But I mean, she might shoot herself in the foot with this.
I mean, grab your popcorn. I'm here for it.
And she's such an interesting character these days. I'm curious to see how she will behave in front of a jury or like in court.
Interesting character. Okay, that was my favorite line because I was like, what do you mean by that, Giselle? Of course, waiting for the tea, you know. I'm like Eleanor Roosevelt. If you ain't got nothing nice to say, come sit next to me. And she was basically said, Tyra's a little off these days. She's not, maybe there's too much sun in Australia. If you guys see too, I put the link in the description for the whole interview, and I'm begging you, you got to go watch it. It's a jaw dropper. She got into it, and I'm glad she did. It's about time these girls got something back. They didn't get paid. Their careers were ruined. You guys have to understand, 2003, reality TV was considered trash. It wasn't like Love Island or The Bachelor or any of that crap where you went on to make millions off of, podcasts or another show, Stay in the Bachelor Family or Instagram. There was no Instagram back then, right? And these girls would go back out and be like, okay, people might know my name. And everyone's like, get out. We know your name. Bye-bye. And I mean, you can tell in those little clips that I just showed, 23 years later, Jazelle is still hurt by this. This kind of hurt doesn't go away. All she wants is an apology. At one point I said, what would you do if you ran into Tyra on the street? And she was like, oh God. It's still a gut punch. There's certain things in your life that doesn't matter how much psychiatry you've gone to, how many years have gone by, it's still a gut punch. And it's nuts. But what's so funny is off of that show, treating these women like dirt. And I remember watching the show. I only watched a little bit of it for a couple seasons because I was like, this is just mean. And I know some people say I'm salty, but I ain't mean. And I certainly don't punch down. And I was like, yeah, I'm not that into it. So Tyra then was rewarded for her crappy behavior and was given her own talk show. That's right. Remember this nonsense? And the funniest thing is, let me tell you about Tyra. Tyra's the kind of girl, Janice Dickinson said it best. She doesn't like pretty women. Janice actually said, let me find this. She always claimed that Tyra was late to the set. She said the life-size star kept everyone waiting for hours and hours when they were filming the final episodes of season 4 in South Africa without air conditioning. Now, this is a common thing to do in the beauty and music industry. All right, back in the day. And I have a curse. I am always on time. If I am 5 minutes late, I'm freaking out. All right. So I would show up to music mogul fill in blanks office or beauty moguls fill in or model agent bling blong, and it was forever. They would make you wait. I was also on Entertainment Tonight for a couple of years in The Insider, and Kimora Lee Simmons, another former model who then married Russell Simmons, a man who was decades older than her, although they allegedly, oh my God, wink, only wink, met when she was 16 and waited till she was 18 to get serious. Big old lie. They met when she was like 12 or 13. And anywho, Kimora was sent by Entertainment Tonight to go interview Beyonce. It's hilarious. It was like 2003, 2004. So Beyonce, ultimate professional. The call was set for 3:00. At 2:59, Beyonce is there, hair, makeup, nails, waiting. waiting. An hour and 15 minutes later, Kimora rolled up. The ET crew, by the way, is freaking out. They are busting a major sweat because you don't keep anyone waiting like this. This is your guest. Beyonce was not Beyonce then, but she was pretty big. Okay. And Beyonce sees her car roll up and goes, I'll be right back, y'all. Walks upstairs. Kimora walks in. I'm ready. And Beyonce's assistant comes down and goes, Beyonce will be right with you. She's just getting her nails done. An hour and a half later, 3 hours after the regular interview was called for, boom, Beyonce showed up. Hello, Kimora, and did the interview. It was hilarious because she knew what Kimora was pulling. Whoever makes people wait the longest has the most power, and that is exactly what Tyra was doing to everybody on America's Next Top Model and the Tyra Show. Now, meanwhile, the thing that really chaps me, and I can't handle this, I can't, you know, a lot of people look at me and they assume a lot. I once had somebody say, well, you wouldn't get it. You're a rich girl from the Upper East Side. I just started laughing my ass off. I was like, girl, I grew up in a 4-room house in Ohio. My mother worked 4 jobs, and one of those 4 rooms was the bathroom. Calm yourself. It's like I always tell people, Google me before you come for me, right? But the thing is, I can't stand it when people are nasty to people just doing an honest living. All right? Now, when you have your own show, like the Tyra Show, you have a ton of people whose livelihoods depend on you. You've got hair, makeup, cameramen, sound men, you've got stage, you've got production, you've got bookers, you've got assistants. They all rely on you and the show. All right. And so therefore, you can't be a jerk to them. However, Tyra was. Not only did she do jerky episodes that got her some, you know, flack, like the homeless episode, where she went undercover as a homeless woman. Yeah. And then the fat episode where she pretended to be fat and cried, which I thought was hilarious. I did. I was like, oh, for Christ's sake. E.T. also did a fat episode, and I think they put Vanessa Manillo, who's now on CSI Hawaii. Vanessa Manillo got put in a fat suit as well. Vanessa was a former beauty queen, whatever. Never been fat a day in her life, walked out in a fat suit and came back and sobbed, broke down, not unlike Tyra. I felt so ugly. And you're like, geez, gosh, that's me on a Tuesday. Thanks. Glad you. But instead of really empathizing, they just thought how it made them feel and didn't actually understand how their own actions affect people. Tyra could not actually turn sympathy into empathy. In fact, there was just no sympathy at all. I mean, she's something else. You know, she did certain things there. She blindsided the crew about the show's cancellation. So she wanted to talk when Tyra decided to end the talk show in late 2009, decided to end, to focus on a film company. Bad ratings, that's why. She didn't even give anybody the courtesy of a heads up. She just went out and announced it. So all of these people who may or may not have mortgages to pay, have bills to pay, whatnot, who might have turned down other jobs because this was their steady gig, now we're out on the street without a steady gig. Thanks. She also ghosted a lot of people when she moved from LA to New York. Like, some people got to move with her in the show. Some people just didn't find out. Some people had to scramble. And it's just, you know what it is? It's just not nice, man. Not effing nice. And then she disappeared for a while because finally the casting people and the agents and the managers and everyone kind of caught up with the public feeling all around the same time that social media came out that, hey, people might not really like this girl. Huh, maybe we should, geez, the numbers aren't hitting. Finally the dudes understood that really, what powers the economy is women. You know what you're screwed is if women don't watch a woman's show. And they finally realized that. Tyra then went away for a bit. Every now and again, she'll throw something in the air and be like, I need to go to the Victoria's Secret show again or talk about it. But she's in Australia, where the press doesn't really care about her that much. She's still attempting to keep her ice cream dream alive, which is also just odd as hell, her hot ice cream. And she's showing up in these documentaries where she's not taking any accountability. Now, I just want to let y'all know, if somebody comes up to me and says, hey, you hurt my feelings, I'm like, damn, what'd I do? Okay, I'm going to hear you out. And if 90 times out of 100, 9 times out of 10, I will most likely be like, yeah, you're right. Damn, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah. And I will think about it. I will internalize it. This is what I think people should do. However, this is not what Tyra does. If Tyra had come out instead of just suing Netflix and said, I need to look at my behavior and I'm having a reflective moment. I apologize to people I may have hurt. If she had just said that, I might be okay with her. I might, but she's not. She couldn't even remember the episode where Shandy said that she was date raped, basically. Sexually assaulted. Sorry, not date raped. Sexually assaulted. Or felt that she was sexually assaulted. And Tyra's like, wait, what? Huh? But they asked her about it. And she goes, looks up like she's trying to remember. It's just, man, I'm done with you, Tyra. I'm done. Now, listen. Okay, I had a friend of mine, Elizabeth, make this for me. It's my lobster crown. I love it so much. Lobster tiara. And the tiara is coming out for a palate cleanser. Now, hold on. Because, oh my God, look who's here to introduce the palate cleanser. So normally I would do a video of Doug. That is not happening today because you get the live thing. Hi, buddy. And I've been obsessed. One of the reasons I'm so exhausted today is because I spent 4 hours on Instagram Reels last night watching World Cup and people appreciating our country. So I need you to watch this. This is just one of my favorite Reels. And it makes me feel so damn good. I know, Doug, you can't get on the computer. Here we go.
Americans, come closer. I went to a steak house, a steak place. I swear I have never tasted steak this good in my entire life. Oh Lord Jesus, we have barbecue in Africa. We don't have steak. It's black barbecue we are doing over there.
First of all, they give you these peanuts. You can eat as many as you want. She's like, yeah, just take a bag. Then they come out and they put this bread on the table, and I'm like, oh, I didn't order the bread. It's like, oh, that's free. And it's like, and she goes, and if you want more bread, we'll just give you more. Give you the Coke. Of course, it's America, so it's unlimited refill. You just leave there so happy. And then Australians are all like, yeah, but in America you've got to tip. No, you don't have to tip. You want to tip. These people are the most wonderful people in the world. I don't even know why you Americans are so angry all the time. You guys have Texas Roadhouse in your country. You should just be walking around wanting to hug everybody.
Listen, I don't think you understand. This experience is something else. I want to take a sabbatical, man. For a month, off of work, and just go city to city. America, why are you doing this to me, man?
This place is definitely not real. You can eat up your seats, like if you are cold.
So this is how you guys live here in America.
I was wondering.
This Jeep Wagoneer is massive. It is huge. The air conditioning is amazing. The screen is amazing. I'm even getting cold air blowing up my bottom.
That's right, people. I always used to say I was the biggest patriot I knew because I had traveled to almost every other country in the world and see what else is out there. And then, of course, people make it about politics. They make it about tribalism. If you don't like this politician, then you hate America. If you don't do like this TV show, you hate America. Guys, no. I think here's the problem. The grass ain't always greener. We're in the meadow. We really are. Trust me. I know this. Yes, we have our problems, but just look at the reaction of everyone else in the world coming here and being like, oh, whoa. You guys, it ain't that bad. If you're having a bad day, get your butt out of the house, go find someone from around the world that is visiting for the World Cup and buy him a beer. It's freaking amazing. And don't forget, this country is pretty damn fabulous. We never needed to make it great to begin with because it already was the best in the world. That's it for me and Turdbird. We'll see you guys later. Have a great rest of the week. Next week, I'm in London, so I may or may not live stream. Probably not. Bye, guys.